Hey guys, it's me from Studios 5, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing Pixar's latest movie, Turning Red. And if you like Pixar movies, then please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and just subscribe if you like film movies. Now, before we start today's review, I have to say this will contain lots and lots of spoilers to the movie Turning Red. So if you haven't seen this movie, then don't watch this video. And let's get started with this episode of Popcorn. So what is Turning Red about? So Turning Red is a coming-of-age story starring Rosaline Chien, Maitri Ramakrishnan, Ava Morris, Orion Lee, and Sandra Oh. The story follows Mei Mei, a 13-year-old Chinese-American girl who's at the crossroads of staying her mother's obedient daughter versus wanting to be a regular 13-year-old girl with 13-year-old experiences. And on top of this, whenever she gets too emotional or too excited, she poofs into a giant red panda. And so through this panda, she eventually learns to embrace the change that she's going through as a 13-year-old and to realize that the image she's held up all these years for her mother is not truly who she is. And eventually she has to stand up to her mother and, proclaim herself as having been changed, and that her mother needs to accept it, and that for the relationship to continue, she needs to understand that she's 13 now and she's not the same Mei Mei as she was maybe a few years ago to a year ago. And now moving on to the animation of this movie. The movie's animation is so well done. Just another phenomenally animated film by Pixar, and you can really see that the director Domi Shi, who's making her directorial debut with this movie, really took lots and lots of inspiration from anime, from the anime eyes to the extreme facial expressions, to the cartoonish style of how all the characters move and behave, to the close-up shots of where you can see like the little sweat droplets dripping down their face and the dilated pupils, which scream typical anime. Along with balancing it with the typical Pixar style, this movie has really made a marriage between anime and Pixar. And also this movie has a lot of 2000s inspiration, which I'm going to touch on. This movie takes place in 2002 February, I think, and you see tons of 2000s references, from Tamagotchis to flip phones to Polaroid cameras to camcorders to all sorts of nostalgic 2000 items, to the boy band fever, which is exemplified with Mei Mei and her friends obsessing about a fictional boy band called Four Town, which is supposed to be a cross between NSYNC and I think Boys on the Street and many other boy bands that were popular between the 90s and the 2000s. Now, this movie had tons of themes, motifs that I really liked. I really liked how when the mom first asks the daughter, not knowing she's turning into a red panda, has the red peony bloomed? And if you don't know, peony is an indigenous plant to mainland China, and it's considered to be very beautiful once it blooms, and peonies come in many other shapes and colors. And the same goes to with the magnolia tree that we see in the movie. When Mei Mei runs back home as a giant red panda, we see the giant magnolia tree outside of the temple, which is also another indigenous plant to China. And also the color red is very auspicious in Chinese culture, and it's particularly worn on Chinese New Year because it's considered to be a very lucky and a very auspicious color. When it came to the themes of this movie, the themes of self-acceptance, embracing change, and, establishing healthy and beneficial relationships with parents, especially when you're going through adolescence. A lot of parents, unfortunately, like Ming, will try to project the former image onto their children. They'll get confused, they'll get anxious, they'll get angry at all the changes that are going on, and sometimes, put it on their kids, unfortunately, because they're struggling to accept the fact that their child is changing, and sometimes they can end up being overbearing and controlling like we see with Ming. And honestly, eventually seeing the two meeting each other in the middle ground and just accepting that, there are certain things that have to change and certain things that have to stay the same. And I have to say, my favorite character in this movie was not only Mei Mei, but was also Abby. Abby was one of my favorite characters. She was just so passionate and funny, and you could just really see that she was really, based off a friend that director Domi Shi might have had in her teenage years, and also the representation of female friendships. That her squad is a very healthy, well-rounded squad with tons of different personalities having their own moments to shine in this movie. And yeah, those are my thoughts to Turning Red. Please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you like Pixar movies, and comment down below what your favorite Pixar film is. I would love to hear that. And please be sure to subscribe if you like film reviews. And please be sure to ring the bell to be notified whenever I upload, which is every Friday. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!